My name is V, and I am going to cover a few things that I would do differently if I were starting my business this year in 2022. One of the first things that I would do is to focus on understanding how to make a profit. And that sounds simple, but there are a lot of upfront costs that go into setting up your product, whether it's digital or physical, before you can pay yourself, before you can have play money. And that is something that I'm definitely struggling with, and I'm not particularly finding it easy to come across that information. So I'm refocusing my strategy this year, but that is one of the first things that I would do differently. What I started off doing was coming up with different concepts and ideas of, oh, okay, I could sell this notebook, or I could sell this service, and this would be the headline, and this would be the tagline, this would be my slogan, this is the color scheme that I would go with, totally neglecting understanding the fundamentals of upfront costs and how I would fund those upfront costs. Like, that is a huge deal. And now that I'm starting to hear about that, understand it, I'm definitely shifting my focus and doing away with all this concept planning and storyboarding and focus on understanding the costs associated with getting a product or service ready to sell. So that's huge. And especially because I don't have much to put up front to start making a profit, I definitely have to be a lot more thoughtful with the $100 I spend to buy poster boards and figure out how to then distribute those poster boards. Like, I have to really be smart and strategic with what I'm doing. And by strategy, you have a strategy once you understand the ingredients that go into the execution. Or once you can execute once you have the ingredient. Well, I guess I'm saying the same thing in a different sense. So anywho, the next thing that I would do is understand different marketplaces. So there's Amazon Marketplace, there's Merch by Amazon, you could be a pro seller on Amazon, there's Target, you could be a digital seller on Target, you could be a designer. There's so many things. Walmart, I would under Shopify, Etsy, and they too, some of them come with fees. So you really need to understand what game and what arena you're entering. And I'm just now starting to uncover these different aspects of selling. So that is where I would definitely start my focus and research if I were beginning this year in 2022. The next thing that I would do differently is to, let me take a look here at my notes. Okay, so I would get a better understanding on what fees to expect. There are payment processing fees. There are service fees when it comes to using something like Etsy or using a service like Amazon. There are banking fees. There are checking account fees. There are credit fees, and that kind of ties into my previous point to understanding how to make a profit. Like, what goes into this system before I get money to buy that new fancy lip gloss? Like, what is it? What is going on? And the next thing that I would do and focus would be understanding the cost to get customers. Now, I don't know what it is, but I have to sit with the concept for quite a bit before it clicks. And we hear about marketing and advertising quite often, regularly, so much. So much. I don't even need to reiterate how we hear about marketing and advertising all the time. And I was listening to ironically, a podcast called Marketplace. It's a radio show by American Public Media. And he was interviewing a business owner and asked her, what is the cost involved with getting a customer? And she said, okay, that is about $8. And on average, they spend $50 to $100. But now that has gone up to $30. And I'm listening to this like, wait a minute. This is new to me. And this also kind of goes back to understanding the finances of how to make a profit. Because if I know it costs $8 to $30 to get a customer to look at me, to be interested, and then convert them into a paying customer from a visiting customer, that really changes everything and forces you to go back to your storyboard, your planning, and be smart and cost effective about it. So that's like a huge thing. I don't even need to over explain it. Understand the difference between setting up digital products versus physical products. Now, what are the costs that go? So this is just, I'm further breaking down the overarching concept of how do you make a profit? So understanding the difference between selling a digital product and a physical product. If you want to open up a bodega in your neighborhood, what does that cost? What do you need in order to rent a space, buy the building, buy the register equipment, setting up internet, setting up all these things, or what goes into setting up a table at a farmer's market? What goes into setting up a vendor booth at your local amusement park? So, those come with their set of fees. And then it comes to selling digital products. How much does Etsy charge per item for you to sell? What does WooCommerce charge, which is WordPress's e-marketplace, for you to set up and sell? And is it broken up by tiers? These are the things that once you understand all of them, and once I understand them better, then I'll be able to make the best decision for me in terms of moving ahead and turning a profit with whatever service or product I then settle on based on my finances currently, because I can't just go out and get a loan. And it's not because, and when I inquired about that with my bank, they're like, oh, have you made revenue of this amount? I'm like, okay, once again, it boils down to making a profit. So I would focus on that. The next thing I would do is wait until I sell about $1,000 until I have sales in 1,000 or more. And I would wait to register my business because of all of the fees associated. Like, I probably spent $500, give or take, to kind of start my business, articles of organization, getting a cell phone, getting my business license, getting my domain hosting, like all those things. And I recently learned all of those count as losses. So I really don't want to pour any more money into whatever I have going on until I can focus and guarantee a certain outcome so that it makes sense, because I want to make money, not lose money. And right about now, the math ain't mathin', the money ain't moneying, and the finances are not financing. So that is a huge thing that I would do differently, and I would encourage you to take your homework and do, so that you're not spreading yourself thin, trying to do a little bit of everything and trying to sell a little bit of everything and wondering like why you're not having that money to get that new Fenty. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta stay cute. So that's pretty much it. If you want to hear more, learn more, comment, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll get back to you. And by we, I mean me, myself, and I. Bye.